When it comes to any team objective, brain may be what's required to plan things out, but brawn is what truly helps make it come to be. And when it comes to these two powerhouses, they are truly Herculean. And once again, yes, I'm actually doing this. Ed, the strongest kid in the cul-de-sac, and the heavy weapons guy, TF2's Russian muscle. Note, for this fight I'll only be giving Heavy the weapons that already exist in the game and are not fan-made. I'm one fish mob and it's my job to see who would win in a fight. The Eds. This trio of scheming friends have achieved many unlikely feats, building schemes that should be impossible. This is achieved by their wit, quick thinking, and of course, brute strength. And the latter is gained through the tallest member, Ed. Due to his nature, Ed is mainly used by the group to do the heavy lifting they can't. And lift he can. He can lift objects too heavy for anyone else to lift, from heavy barrels to entire households. He can flap his lips so fast he turns himself into a motor for a boat, pulled the cul-de-sac street lamps down on the ground with his tongue, pulled a massive sewer pipe out of the ground and carried it like it was nothing, and was able to jump so high he went out of sight. Ed is also as fast as a speeding car, can survive great falls, being crushed and crashing into things. He can also run and carry massive objects for a long time without getting tired and can be used as a multi-purpose tool. Other notable abilities Ed has is an incredibly high tolerance towards pain, a massive appetite, and a seemingly universal resistance to any foul odor. But Ed's most useful ability is his Toon Force. With this ability, Ed has been able to duplicate himself, run down 90-degree angles, hit imaginary walls, expand his head and lift so much that he can swallow a mattress whole, and even temporarily flew like a bird. But Ed is also known for being quite headstrong. Literally. Ed's main weapon is in fact his head. It's strong enough to leave imprints in the dirt, dent oil drums, which are typically made of steel, and send people flying. You can also increase its power by wearing a helmet. But that's not all. Ed can conduct static like a lightning rod and can become so charged that everything in the room he's in will slowly approach him. And if he touches someone when fully charged, it will result in a 2-story mushroom cloud that destroys nearly everything in its blast. But make Ed mad, this happy kid will go from harmless idiot to violent monster. When enraged, Ed is at his most powerful, and was even able to intimidate his little sister, Sarah, who is capable of lifting up cars and is the nastiest, most aggressive person that lives in the cul-de-sac. He can create powerful winds that tear off clothing just by yelling, and can only be stopped by being calmed down. However, don't let this calm state fool you. He is still one of the most powerful characters in his universe. He peeled up a sidewalk by belly slamming it, survived atmospheric re-entry, and survived having his face ripped off. He once ran so fast during a flashback he went back to the day he and the other Eds first met, aided in dismantling all of reality with his pals, and nearly defeated all the kids of the cul-de-sac in combat. Heck, he even once kidnapped all but 3 of the kids when he thought he became a monster. But when Ed isn't terrorizing the kids, he's winning spelling bees, creating elevators that go to the moon, winning cul-de-sac wide bets, or going on a special date with Daphne. Yes, the one from Scooby-Doo. It went as well as you thought. However, Ed is not without flaws. He's unbelievably stupid and easily manipulated, has very little to no combat experience, and can be quite cowardly sometimes. He has a strict rule of not fighting girls and can only tolerate and endure pain and injury to an extent. But other than that, it is also one of the many reasons Eddie's scams fail so often. However, if you need someone that is willing to help either through honesty or manipulation, you can count on Ed to be by your side.
But he's up top. Tag, you're it.
In the world of Team Fortress, only the strong can prevail. How you do it does not matter. You can just be a runner who clubs people with bats, a pyromaniac given a toy they shouldn't have, or even a giant gun-toting mercenary. And with this, I introduce to you the heavy weapons guy. But everyone just calls him Heavy for short. However, the Heavy wasn't always like this. After his father died, he and his family were captured and put in a Siberian gulag, which is basically prison, with many other victims. However, Heavy would not take this lying down. Eventually, Heavy broke himself, his sisters, and the other captives out by himself and proceeded to torture the guards to death. 20 years later, the Heavy eventually got a job, working for Redmond Man as, what else? A mercenary. Here, he joined Team Red, who he fought alongside with to help protect his family. But this leads to Heavy's true bread and butter, inflicting pain on everyone. The Heavy is easily one of Team Fortress's strongest members, able to effortlessly lift a 330-pound minigun on a daily basis, and is strong enough to casually punch out all of Blue Scout's blood and ripped out a Blue Soldier's spine in a melee. He's also wrestled half-ton bears and bent a spy's revolver 90 degrees. But Heavy isn't just all brute force. He also carries many weapons and items to help him in battle. The grappling hook helps Heavy get to areas a lot faster and pull himself to enemies in high places he cannot normally get to. The Natasha minigun may do less damage than other miniguns, but when hit, the target slows down and grants a 20% damage resistance when spun up, but only if Heavy's health is below 50%. The shotgun holds up to 6 shells and has 32 reserves of ammunition, which can slam 5-6 rounds in rapid succession. The sandwich, or sandwich as he calls it, heals the Heavy when eaten, but if Heavy wants to get down and dirty, he'll just go as victim barehanded. He's a great hand-to-hand combatant, with crits easily killing a normal man. He can also increase the effectiveness of his punches with the killing gloves of boxing, which may lower his attack speed, but a kill can briefly grant a 100% crit chance for all weapons to kill. But undoubtedly, his favorite weapon is his minigun, Sasha. Effective at short to medium range, this BAFS can carry up to 200 rounds and fires 2,400 rounds per minute. However, it can be very expensive, since the Heavy claims that it costs $400,000 to fire Sasha for 12 seconds. The Heavy is truly a beast in a fight. Alongside with the medic, he defeated an entire horde of blue soldiers, can fight 2 sentry guns by himself, broke himself, his family, and many other victims out of jail, and has held off various enemies, including rival mercenaries of various classes, the classic Heavy, hordes of robots, a massive eyeball that can fire rockets, the horseless headless horseman, a bread monster, and even an almighty wizard. However, the Heavy isn't without flaws. He's the slowest out of all the TF2 classes, and while he does think he's invincible, his durability is limited. If he thinks someone won't be a problem, he will sometimes let his guard down, and has even admitted that sometimes he can be outsmarted, and most of the time, he just goes straight into combat with no real strategy. However, the Heavy is a deadly force to be reckoned with. When he's out on the field, the best strategy is to run. Alright, the combatants are set. This battle will have no prep time, no outside help, or home field advantage. Let the battle begin.
stand against me now?
I will squash you!
Fight! Run, cowards!
Wah!
Here I come!
You torment me!
Yeah! Hide, cowards! Me going to beat your ass.
Wah!
Big trouble!
It is good day to be giant man. Oh no!
Well, that was unexpected for probably a lot of people. However, before the Team Fortress 2 fans get angry, let me explain. The Heavy most certainly had more combat experience and was a lot smarter than Ed, as well as having a better arsenal, with Natasha being particularly useful. The Heavy was also a lot better in hand-to-hand combat. However, Ed dominated in every other category. Ed was easily stronger than the Heavy will ever be, and in terms of running is probably faster. Not only that, Ed has also survived what should have been lethal situations in the past, meaning Ed could possibly survive most of what the Heavy can throw at him. How much damage he'd be able to take before dying is up for debate though. Not to mention, Ed as a character, and in terms of battle, is a lot more unpredictable, as opposed to Heavy's standard strategy of just going into battle without a real plan. And let's face it, it'd be inevitable that the Heavy, due to the nature of his opponent, would let his guard down pretty quickly, allowing Ed a huge advantage in the fight. Especially during his enraged state, Ed would be more than capable of getting up close and doing severe damage to the Heavy in the process. But the ultimate defining factor in what led Ed to win was how both characters functioned on a reality level. Heavy, in-universe, is bound more to normal laws of physics, while Ed, on the other hand, is not. Ed is a Toon Forcer. The laws of physics don't apply to him, which is why Ed is able to survive so many deadly occurrences and do things like conduct electricity, run down 90-degree angles, and lift up houses. Things that TF2 characters can just never do, at least without outside help, thus giving Heavy the greatest disadvantage in the fight. Sure, like in the actual fight itself, Heavy would probably start off with the fight leaning towards him, with Ed just trying to survive. But once Ed gets serious, it all immediately goes downhill for him. Looks like the Heavy met an Ed extraordinary end. The winner is Ed.